none of which justifies Israel's actions. So it doesn't even matter. None of this justifies that Palestinians have a right to dignity, a right to emancipation, a right to live fucking free lives, free from this occupation. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much. So that's the other part of this problem that many people...
Hey, dude, if it doesn't matter, then why do you argue so much on this point? It just makes no sense that, you know, you would say it doesn't matter, but then you would spend such a long time arguing about whether or not rapes happened on October 7th. If it doesn't matter, then you would say it doesn't matter. You wouldn't say, oh, like a bunch of fabricated stories happened with October 7th, right? Like that, nothing about this makes any kind of sense, right?
That can't contend with, like, the Palestinian resistance is not perfect. They're not like so good. They have magical bullets, and there's no criminal elements that could have conducted themselves very differently. Like that doesn't change the dynamic for me at all. It's so fucking stupid to act like, no, they're perfect. They were perfect on October 7th, and they were conducted themselves perfectly. But these kinds of stories delegitimize Palestinian resistance? No, it does not. What the fuck are you talking about? No, you think it delegitimizes Palestinian resistance.
Wait, what are you talking about? You said it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, then you should say that if there were rapes, then it's horrific. However, I don't think that this should take away from the fact that Israel right now is absolutely raping Gaza. This would be the correct thing to say. I don't get why Hasan says, like, then why does he spend so much time, like, actually talking about talking about this, right? Like, Jesus Christ, dude, what a crazy unhinged thing
you
to
think so?
fixate on.
I don't. The fuck? Do you understand? My position is, I'm not expecting perfect victimhood from Palestinians. It will never stop to be insane how that clip makes you sound out of context. And ironically enough, it was me arguing against the chatter at the time that was saying, why don't you just say rapes didn't happen? Many people are like, what the fuck? How am I going to believe this? Other, like, non-professional forensic accounting being conducted on October 7th, this has muddied the waters so much that understandably many people are like, what the fuck? How am I going to believe this? How am I supposed to believe anything that Israel says? It's a perfectly valid fucking criticism to have against the state that has lied every single step of the fucking way.
Oh, dude, for the love of God, stop fucking eating on stream. Well, I mean, I also ate on stream today, but, like, I feel like Hasan does this far more often, no? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. You don't have to be this cringe, dude. Come on.
Many hostages have records of...
Okay. I can't stand this. I'm skipping forward again. Sorry, guys. I'm skipping forward again. Ethan claims mass rape occurred on... I don't want to hear his chewing noises. Yeah.
Resistance is not perfect. They're not, like, so good. They have magical bullets. It's not perfect. Oh, this requires its own debunking. This is not correct, okay? I'm sorry, and I know it's going to fucking make you feel bad when I say this, or for Ethan, it's going to make him feel really good because he's going to be like, he's denying rape. Hamas did not mutilate and rape women on October 7th. That actually was initial reporting that was identified as incorrect. What this report is showing is something...
Wait, what?
...that fucking...
I feel like you can get away with eating on stream, though, because your name is Food. That is true.
Not correct, okay? I'm sorry, and I know it's going to fucking make you feel bad when I say this, or for Ethan, it's going to make him feel really good because he's going to be like, he's denying rape. Hamas did not mutilate and rape women on October 7th. That actually was initial reporting that was identified as incorrect. What this report is showing is some...
Wait, what are you talking about? Wait, what is he on about? I feel like in the Wikipedia article that I saw, it said that Hamas most definitely mutilated women, and in the UN report as well. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Okay, maybe. Okay, I don't know where he's going with this.
Something that
okay.
fucking Rabbi Shmuley has also brought forward. I know that because he literally repeated it over and over and over again. Okay, he said Hamas militants went in and cut the titties off of a Israeli woman, and then cut the head off of an Israeli woman, and then fucking played soccer with the head and the titty of an Israeli woman. Don't say I'm crashing out. He's crashing the hell out. You're crashing out. The fuck do you mean crashing out?
I mean, Hasan crashing out is just another day on the block. Okay, let's be very fair. Okay, Hasan crashing out is how you know that the world is restoring to its natural order. Okay, its natural hierarchy. Okay, of things. Genital mutilation. Yep. The UN also said there was no legitimate evidence. What are you talking about? They literally said the opposite of what you just said. But okay, I don't know why you just said that for no reason.
So good. They have the power. And even then, what is so crazy about this process is that I'm not even fucking denying that rapes happened in that one. He just clipped me out of fucking context. They stopped when they thought it was dead. The ordeal of Esther, raped and mutilated by Hamas terrorists. Cases of rape and sexual mutilation committed during October 7 massacre are surfacing. While survivors are still struggling to speak out, one of them, who participated in the Tribe of Noah festival, agreed to tell us what she suffered. Now, I need you to understand something. This is in the immediate aftermath, okay? In the immediate aftermath. It's in November 26, 2023. It's understandable that the reporting on this was going to be murky at the fucking time, okay? I'm going to be as gracious as I possibly can be. Israel denied all investigations into the matter. All the forensic evidence was basically fucking either destroyed or literally designed in a way to erroneously create a alternative fucking reality by Zaka. They did this, and there's plenty of reporting on this process, okay? Go back and look at all these fucking reports. Now, the reason why, let me explain something to you. Why is this important to me, okay? Because the reality of the matter is, this is one of those things where it's like, it's the major no-no, okay? It's the biggest no-no of all time. And there is a likelihood that rapes did take place on October 7. It's just that there is no evidence for a Hamas-backed, systematized version of sexual assault that took place on October 7. It is logically already a very difficult thing to suggest, okay? But on top of that, it was one of the most live-streamed atrocities of all time. There are CCTV footages everywhere. There are body camera footages. Israel had access to every single Hamas militant's body camera footage, okay? They had it from every fucking angle. And they couldn't find one singular piece of fucking CCTV footage or visible evidence beyond photos that they claimed implied that sexual assault took place, including family members. I believe it was Shani Luke. Family members of Shani Luke came out and said, stop saying my daughter got raped. She did not get sexually fucking assaulted. Like, they literally would deny the wishes of the existing victims, the family members, to make this argument. Now, why is this important? Because there was a shit ton of atrocities that took place on October 7. It was brutal, okay? It was violent. They came in with hang gliders. It's a breakout from a fucking open-air prison. Of course it was violent. It was like the Nat Turner Rebellion, okay? It was ruthless. It was violent. There was plenty of atrocities that took place, but it was important for Israel to actually increase the atrocities to the best of their ability in an effort to justify what was coming next.
All right. Let me just Google search this real quick. Okay.
Next. That's why it was important to do good journalism in this moment, in this very moment. That's why they went on with the babies in the ovens nonsense, or 40 babies were beheaded. Shit that, by the way, Ethan and Gila still repeat. Atrocity propaganda that justifies the unimaginable, untold amounts of terror that Israel subjected the entirety of the Palestinian population to. Okay? There's never been a moment where my analysis over the situation wasn't that October 7 was horrifying. It was absolutely considered an act of terror. It was. It's true. Still, the majority of the fucking people that were killed were civilians. Okay? That's unacceptable. But I understand what the conditions are that caused October 7 to happen. And if you can't have that fucking conversation, you don't want to solve the problem. You just want Palestinians to get slaughtered.
I just don't get why Hasan says here that you necessarily need video evidence. Do you know how hard it is to acquire? Like, it doesn't really matter, okay? Because I guess we're selectively trusting the experts on this one, because we're really just picking and choosing what we take seriously and what we don't take seriously, but okay. A senior United Nations official, okay, this is March 5th, 2024, okay, by the way. A senior United Nations official found clear and convincing information that hostages, this is by NBC News, by the way, reasonable grounds to believe sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, occurred during the October 7 terrorist attack led by Hamas. Based on the information gathered, the mission team found clear and convincing information that sexual violence, including rape, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment has been committed against hostages, the UN said in a report, adding that it has reasonable grounds to believe that such violence may be ongoing against those still in captivity. Pramila Patel, Chin, the Secretary General's Special Representative on Sexual Violence and Conflict, said in the 23-page report that she was unable to determine the exact scope of sexual violence that occurred October 7. She concluded that finding the precise number of sexual assaults and identifying the perpetrators of such crimes would require a full-fledged investigation and may take months or years to emerge. Okay, so again, the expected duration of time in order to complete a full-fledged investigation is even unreasonable as of now, right? Because 2025, if they say it take months or years to find, you even need the full-fledged investigation to even start in the first place, okay, by the way. And right now there's an ongoing war, so it's not like you can actually, I don't know, like investigate the tunnels or some shit. In most of these incidents, victims first subjected to rape were then killed, and at least 2 incidents relate to the rape of women's corpses. The UN report said it has reasonable grounds to believe that at least 5 rapes occurred during the October 7th attack, in which members of Palestinian Islamic Jihad and other armed groups also took part. Patton said her team heard credible accounts of at least 2 rapes of corpses at the Nova Music Festival in the surrounding area, 1 rape outside a bomb shelter at the entrance of Kibbutz Re'im, and 2 on Road 232, which runs parallel to the Gaza Strip. Based on examination of available information, including credible statements by eyewitnesses, there are reasonable grounds. I mean, unless you're saying, okay, all of these people are fucking lying, right? Unless you're saying literally everybody is lying, even though all of their information, matches up, even though all of their accounts, don't contradict each other, they're all lying for some whatever reason. I mean, okay, dude, like, I mean, it's just very unbelievable, I guess. Like, how much coordination and how much lying does there have to be for so many people to coordinate on, what stories of seeing people get raped on, right? Is right. Like, this is literally how rape is proven in the first place. It's not by video evidence, it's by eyewitness testimonies and firsthand sight, right? UN officials said the reported rape of a woman outside a bomb shelter at the entrance of Kibbutz Re'im was corroborated by witness testimonies and digital material. Okay, digital material. Okay, this could mean pictures. Patton was unable to verify reports of sexual violence at Kibbutz Be'eri, where Israeli officials say more than 100 people were killed. More than 1,200 people died in the attack, according to Israeli officials. The subsequent Israeli offensive against Hamas has killed more than 30,000 people in Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry there. Okay, so let me see. Threats of rape. Okay, officials say they're investigating allegations of misconduct against Palestinians, which is good. It's fine. As part of the work, Patton said her team reviewed more than 5,000 photographs and about 50 hours of video. So I'm gonna clarify: 50 hours of video. Okay. Now, listen. All right. Even if there were videos of the rapes, do you really think, do you think that they would release this stuff? Like, do you think the families would be okay that videos of their daughter being raped is released? Or do you think that these videos are being shown privately to an investigative body? And that is more likely the case when it came to the UN report, right? After the release of the UN report Monday, Israeli officials shared 24 images and videos, okay, with NBC News that they said they provided to the UN team. Some of the photos have been shared with NBC News previously. I mean, I can't believe he would want to watch in real life snuff rape videos. So then Hasan can jerk himself off, I guess, to Israeli woman being raped to death. I guess that's what turns him on. But okay, dude. The photos and videos show female bodies stripped of clothing, some with their hands tied behind their backs, some show that appear to be dry blood in dead women's genital areas. I mean, what else can this be? Like, you really think that Israeli forces are trying to set this up by mutilating their own fucking bodies? How unhinged is that? Israeli officials said that they told UN investigators that they believe that one photo shows that multiple nails were pushed again inside a woman's lower abdomen and genital area. Jesus Christ, dude. And knife has been inserted in a woman's vagina. I mean, this is literally genital mutilation. I'm sorry. This is literally genital mutilation. Why the fuck would you deny this? Like, this is so fucked up anyway, right? Israeli officials invade Patton on November 8th, 1 month after attack, right? Another team of experts spent 17 days meeting with representatives of 33 Israeli institutions and organizations. They also visited 4 locations where sexual violence reportedly occurred October 7. The UN conducted 34 confidential interviews, some of them from witnesses. Okay. Hasan and her team did not interview any survivors of sexual violence, say the survivors are still receiving specialized trauma treatment. I mean, that's understandable, right? Like, fuck. I was not chaperoned, she said. So basically, no limits were placed on her work. All right, so it's not like she was threatened under, you know, fucking Israel to provide a different story, right? Like, dude, oh my god. Dude, these people are actually heinous. I'm sorry. People like Hasan is actually heinous. Jesus
Over and
Christ,
over again
dude.
for 76 fucking years.
What a disgusting creature. Disgusting wretch, dude, of a human being.
Ethan understood the gravity of accusing Israel of systematic sexual abuse on the last episode of Leftovers. When he provided a source on the spot, he didn't believe it and wanted more credible evidence. Weird how he understands the gravity when it's accusing Israel, but not when accusing Hamas, and those accusations are being used to justify genocide. Exactly. The irony, of course, is that I'm not even using Israel's previous reporting on the matter, that Israel has systematically raped Palestinian women and boys at checkpoints and in their detention facilities to justify October 7. I'm not even saying that. Some people do. I'm not doing that.
Wait, what the fuck? So you're willing to... I like how he's only willing to believe, like, one side, right? Only one side are a bunch of rapists and murderers, but then the other side doesn't commit any rapes? Really? Hamas has not raped anybody? So you're saying that these Israeli Jews are much more willing to rape than these fundamentalist Muslim barbarians, okay, whose entire strategy behind their terrorism is going scorched earth on their own civilians and everybody around them. Oh, okay, dude. I got you.
This right here, for the record, this is the Esther case on display from Wikipedia. The New York Times changed her name to Sapir. October 2023, Israeli police showed multiple journalists a video of a woman whom Le Parisien called Esther and BBC called Witness S, describing what she claims to have seen from her hiding place near the festival. A militant bent someone over, then Esther understood that he was raping the victim. The militant passed her on to someone else. She was still alive and bleeding from the back. The men cut off parts of her body, sliced her breast, threw it on the street, and played with it. Another militant raped her, then while still penetrating her, shot her in the head, and then ejaculated. 2 months later, in December 2023, the New York Times reported accounts with very similar themes from a witness identified as Sapir. This is not something that took place, okay? I need you to understand, this is not real, okay?
Okay, I mean, like, okay, I like how people, I mean, I'm sure there was at least, like, 2 stories in which the story was actually fabricated, by the way, because, sure, like, there's always going to be at least several people who are going to, by the way, disgustingly exaggerate some accounts, completely fabricate things on the spot. But first of all, how do you know they're even maliciously doing this, right? If, like, how do you know it's not also a trauma, like misremembering things due to trauma, right? You don't even know if it's due to something like that. And number 2, right? And number 2, how do you know that, like, I don't know, like, that like it doesn't discount all the rape that happened, right? Like, just because 1 or 2 stories have been fabricated doesn't mean all the stories have been fabricated, and it doesn't disprove all the fucking evidence that's been laid on the table, right? Obviously not. Like, to say so would be absolutely ridiculous, no? Like, what a ridiculous thing to try and defend. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. The propaganda arm, of which Hasan is at the essence of Qatar Kamala, Chamala.
Here.
I don't know. Oh, Jesus.
Also, the person that conducted the fucking UN report admitted that it was a mischaracterization that genital mutilation took place. Fuck. The reason why this is important, by the way, stop debating rape and focus on the genocide, Lord. No, shut the fuck up. You want to know why this is important to cover? Because this is a colonialist tactic, okay? All of the barbaric rapist savages. It is the same exact fucking principle that whites in apartheid South Africa applied to the black population of South Africa. It is the same exact principle that white settler colonial violence that the Native Americans were subjected to that justified their genocide. It is the exact same thing that white Klansmen said in the Reconstruction era, and as they went on to lynch black people in the aftermath.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Chamla means charm in Arabic. Okay, I got you. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Out of context, it sounds so crazy. Hold on. Out of context, okay?
The reason why this is important, by the way, stop debating rape and focus on the genocide of the Lord. No, shut the fuck up. You want to know why this is important to cover? Because this...
What an unhinged way of saying things. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry, that's out of context. Okay, let's just continue.
Is a colonialist tactic, okay? All of the barbaric rapist savages. It is the same exact fucking principle that whites in apartheid South Africa applied to the black population of South Africa. It is the same exact principle that white settler colonial violence that the Native Americans were subjected to that justified their genocide. It is the exact same thing that white Klansmen said in the Reconstruction era, and as they went on to lynch black people in the aftermath of the Reconstruction era in the Jim Crow South. This is a colonialist tactic to fucking lie about the sexual barbarity of these animals, these primal beings that are violent and scary and must be fucking put to heel. That is precisely the reason why it's important to address the truth of this so that justice can be served for the fucking victims, okay? Not discounting that sexual assault or sexual violence ever took place on October 7th, because that is commonplace in conflicts. But having said that, you must...
Wait, so what the fuck? So if you acknowledge that it's commonplace in conflicts, then why can't you also acknowledge that, like, it happened on October 7th on behalf of Hamas? Wait, I'm a little confused by his fucking logic here. It just makes no sense. Like, it just doesn't logically connect. If you acknowledge that these things happen across a large scale, you know, kind of conflicts and shit, like, why don't you acknowledge that the obvious connection here, right? Like, wait, what the fuck? Dude, am I the only one who thinks that what he said doesn't make any sense? Like, hello?
Understand.
What is bro saying?
You must understand the reason as to why this was so important for Israel to push. It absolutely plays a role in the way that people fucking analyze the Palestinian population. Chris Kunzler and I had a wonderful conversation about this, about the psychosexual nature of this kind of projection propaganda.
Oh my God. Okay, now that's just fucking disgusting. Can you imagine being the parent of a daughter who's been raped and killed, and then you have Hasan over here literally saying, "Oh, it's the parents projecting their psychosexual like projections onto onto the fucking onto the fucking conflict, dude." God, dude, that's disgusting. That's actually disgusting. I'm sorry, that's disgusting, dude. If I was a Israeli parent and I heard something like this, I would be fucking livid, okay? Like, I would actually be fucking livid. Like, what a fucking unhinged thing to say. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. That is actually disgusting. Man, go fuck yourself, dude. Is this yellow highlighted thing part of the extemporaneous react? Yeah, I mean, like, it seems to be, like, done beforehand, so then he has a structure to tackle this topic. I missed it yapping. Basically, he said, what Hasan said is, like, this whole rape propaganda is all projection. It's psychosexual projection. That's what he said. He called it psychosexual projection, which is fucking unhinged. Like, what a fucking unhinged thing to say. Again, if I was one of the victim's parents and I heard something like this, like, holy shit, like, what a fucking crazy thing to say. Jesus.
Here, let's take a look.
The settlers always projected their desire.
Like in addition, like, I'm sorry, in addition to, you know, denying my daughter's rape and death, you're now calling me sexualizing my daughter, right? On purpose to because I find my daughter sexy. Is that why? Like, is that why you say that I say that? Right? Again, this is why it's so unhinged.
Onto the colonized. They would always say, he says specifically in the case of the southern United States, is the white man not always saying that the black man at any opportunity would jump on the good white woman at any given opportunity? Lynchings would very often culminate with of people's. In the case of, he spoke constantly about how bad Jewish boys would attack German women at every opportunity. And in fact, one of the most racist figures and reprehensible within Israeli society, Meir Kahana, there is a video of him on YouTube where he speaks about, he says,
wait, what? Jewish boys attacking German women? What is he talking
the black
about?
man at any opportunity would jump on the good white woman at any given opportunity. Lynchings would very often culminate with of people's. In the case of, he spoke constantly about how bad Jewish boys would attack German women at every opportunity. And in fact, one of the most racist figures and reprehensible within Israeli society, Meir Kahana, there is a video of him on YouTube where he speaks about, he says, there are currently Arab boys hidden in cafes pretending that they have Jewish names so they can basically trick nice, good Jewish girls into dating Arabs. He also gained a massive amount of popularity, his far-right, horrific exterminationist ideology, by saying that there were a series of nationalist, like motivated by terrorism, nationalist hatred of Israel occurring at the time. And there were these.
Wait, what? Okay, I don't even know what to get from that, dude. It's just like, I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck he's trying to prove here. Sorry.
Think about that. Anyway, this is the crucial part many overlook regarding the deranged claims of gang rape from.
That's literally neo-Nazi propaganda. Isn't this like, isn't what that guy just said like? Wait, did he actually just say like, Jewish boys going after German women? Is that what he just said?
Pierre and Roz Cohen.
I'm sorry, I just don't know if I imagined that part or not. Like, Jesus
repeated in the New York
Christ.
Times and other Western.
I mean, was he saying it as an example of bad propaganda, or is he saying it as a fact or something?
Media. We already knew they lied from other evidence, but Patton's UN report also debunked it. Patton's team said that the accounts of gang rape could not be verified during the time provided along Road 232. This is the escape route from the Supernova Music Festival where two individuals claimed they saw gang rape, Ross Cohen and Sapir, or Witness S. Their stories have been cited by virtually every one of the 13 media investigations and civil society reports as evidence of rape. The statement further undermines Israeli and media claims that mass rape occurred on October 7. It is literally Emmett Till shit, okay? It's ridiculous.
What?
The forensic pathology.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Every single time Hasan compares something like this to some kind of American historical movement type shit, dude, I just fucking cringe so hard. This is Emmett Till shit. Dude, oh my god, dude, oh my god, stop. Just stop. Okay, I can't handle this. It's just too much cringe, okay? Jesus Christ, dude. If you go deep enough, people like this start to come up. Yeah, I understand that.
Just looked at all of the bodies and did not find a single one that had that specific type of genital mutilation. As a matter of fact, there's another story about like nails in someone's genitals or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's what I just read from the NBC article. Yeah, like nails and a knife was found in different people's like fucking vaginas. Yes. Hasan is Food's ultimate cringe page. True. Yeah. Really is, okay?
And mischaracterizing grazing gunshot wounds to genitalia as targeted genital mutilation using knives. Here's the UN, the Office of the Special Representative, the Secretary General on Sexual Violence Conflict. Okay. Additional challenges emerged due to erroneous interpretations of states' bodies by some volunteer first responders without relevant qualifications or expertise. Some examples include mistaking post-mortem pugilistic posturing, a boxer-like body posture with flexed elbows, clenched fists, and spread legs, and flexed knees due to the burn damage as indicative of sexual violence, misinterpreting anal dilation due to post-mortem changes as indicative of anal penetration, and mischaracterizing grazing gunshot wounds to genitalia as a targeted genital mutilation using knives. The reason why they mischaracterized it is because the first responders were not actually forensic pathologists. They did not have the capacity to do an autopsy on the fucking spot. So they just looked at it and then said, this is what must have happened. And then the Israeli media ran with that fucking story. This is the reason why I said it's important to fucking arrive at a real conclusion with verifiable evidence. You want to know why I said, and many people made hay of me saying circumstantial evidence in this regard in the UN preliminary report does not meet the standards of circumstantial evidence that would be used in a fucking court of law? Because you're looking at a photo of someone going like this and you make up your mind on it. But a forensic a person that is supposed to conduct the autopsy is going to actually figure out whether or not this thing that you're suspecting happened.
Okay, that's an unhinged standard. Don't you think that is pretty damn obvious? Dude, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry, but I thought it was like Jewish tradition. I thought it was Jewish tradition to bury the body as fast as possible because that's just part of the religion. To say that, okay, somebody with their, like, dude, he's actually arguing that someone's legs are spread open, and that's not evidence, that's not like evidence of rape. Somebody's legs were spread open with blood on their genitalia and shit stuffed up their fucking vagina, and he's arguing that it's not evidence of rape. What the fuck? Dude, what are we... Dude, what a... Dude, this guy's unhinged. Hasan is actually fucking unhinged right now. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is he talking about?
Oh. Every single piece of, every single headline that Ethan erroneously...
Dude, I'm pretty sure, again, what I read before was that evidence of videos and pictures were pulled up for shit like this, right? Like it was both, dude. Like, what, you want to see the evidence yourself? You want to watch the footage so badly yourself? You can fucking jerk off on your own time, dude. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, dude, no one's gonna blame you for having a rape fetish, but stop putting it onto real people, dude. Jesus Christ.
slaps on here, including this one, is bullets contributing to, once again, Screams Without Words, how Hamas weaponized sexual violence on October 7th. This is a great fucking example of a story that did not meet the standard of New York Times' own editorial review. This was so goddamn controversial, but so necessary so that Israel could keep pushing the narrative of Palestinian barbarity, okay?
Oh,
this story was written by a person who had insanely racist shit on her timeline, so much so that the New York Times actually dropped her after this story, okay? The story itself was incredibly controversial within the New York Times editorial board because they said it did not meet the internal standards of the New York Times' editorial team because they could not, there was no verifiable evidence and simply claims people were making that could very easily be destroyed in a moment's fucking notice, and as many of them did. Yeah, this is one of the three authors of the Screams Without Words mass rape atrocity propaganda hoax. Anat Schwartz. She liked posts calling for Gaza to be turned into a slaughterhouse. This is the person that the New York Times actually fucking hired. Anat Schwartz liked this post that said, turn the strip into a slaughterhouse. The New York Times saw all of this and said, okay, we can't have her do reporting for Israel again. Huh.
Yeah, wow. It's almost as if journalism is accountable for itself. Dude, I like how whenever journalism like corrects its own fucking mistakes and how they hold their own fucking members responsible, Hasan looks at it and then he just goes, well, see, they were lying this entire fucking time. Like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? It's almost as if like there's actual accountability when it comes to factual reporting on shit like this, right? It's almost as if that they take the truth very seriously, right? So whenever somebody tries to actually be, truthful about things, he's like, Jesus Christ. But he's saying that's a good thing, isn't he? No, he's trying to use that as a reasoning to show that, these accounts are not factual, about how a lot of these accounts are fabricated or exaggerated. But in fact, the one account or the one piece of media in which, punishment was meted out, it was like not factual, action was taken and there was consequences. So it's like, dude, Jesus Christ, dude, like, yeah. Unhinged.
If this didn't meet the standards, why did this article come out? Well, because atrocity propaganda was an absolute...
Isn't he saying that there literally is just enough evidence? I mean, he's saying that, but he's just not right. Nobody agrees with him. Literally nobody who is an expert agrees with him that there is not enough evidence. In fact, most people say, right, most experts say that there is an overwhelming amount of evidence, right? I like how, like, the moment the evidence is against him, he just goes full MAGA and then starts denying experts. It's just unhinged, dude.
Fucking necessity, okay? And the reason why I'm not moving on from this, and I know why some girly pops might actually have some issues with this because you're like, oh, I've heard this before. No, you have to understand something very important here.
That's what happens when you're not shots and you don't have 90% doctors following you to tell you what the fuck. Dr. Sess is like the one doctor out of 10 that does not recommend the medication. Okay, I'm kidding.
This is the same exact type of atrocity propaganda that colonial powers have always used against black people, against Native Americans, and the German Nazis used against Jews, okay? That they're rapist monsters. This is the oldest fucking colonial propaganda in the goddamn book because it's such a depraved act to do this level of harm to a victim that when you hear it, you don't even want to think about anything else. You are immediately and understandably grossed out by it. It's the same exact shit that We do right now with immigrants. Immigrants are rapists. Immigrants are rapists. Why do you think Trump says that over and over again with no evidence whatsoever? And it's incredibly frustrating that I actually, in our debate, asked Ethan, do you have any names? Do you have any victims that have come out and actually offered firsthand testimony to this barbaric sexual assault that you're saying was systematized by Hamas, that where mass rapes took place on October 7? Do you have any victims? What are their names? Because I do not reflexively disbelieve women. I do believe women. When a woman comes out and says, this actually happened, this happened to me. Like,
what's the highlighted part even saying on the screen right now? I think the parts that are highlighted in the sexual violence and conflict report for the October 7 rapes are the ones that are describing the people's bodies, basically saying that how people's body, like the positions that the bodies were in and the state of the bodies, right? It's like observations about it. Yeah.
for example,
There is no normal noticeable anal changes post-mortem in a normal death without rape. Okay, only you know this kind of stuff, so you know. And I'm not about to make statements like that.
testimony of
Fair enough.
Amit, I think her name is Amit Shoshana, right? The one that Ethan kept showing over and over again. She was sexually assaulted in captivity. Okay, that is in the UN Sexual Violence and Conflict Report. That is the verifiable instance of rape that did not happen on October 7th, but actually happened in captivity. Okay. Ethan kept playing that over and over again, not understanding that I've never actually denied that. And he kept using her testimony to imply that her testimony was from October 7 over and over and over again.
Oh boy.
However, evidence. There is, however, real evidence as far as like first-hand accounts and testimony. Even this is from the same. This is moments before that clip that he posted about, by the way, to make me look like I'm just laughing about rapes taking place and testimony from hostages. So that part is real. That did happen, which is very important, and that was a part of the UN investigation that was conducted. There is, however, evidence. There is, however, real evidence. I think you need to clarify systematically. People are struggling to understand what you mean. There is no... Hasan, please respond to it. It's very important. They're going to use it against you. What do you have to say to Hila's reasoning for Israel not letting forensic investigations that due to religious reasons they bury the body ASAP?
I like how when it comes to rape, it is literally one of the longest segments in this entire thing. Okay, this is just one of the most heinous segments ever, dude. Jesus Christ. Okay, we're gonna see if we can finish this. Okay, we got 9 more minutes of this segment. Okay, the specific rape segment, and then we got to end it off for today.
That's a fucking lie, and she's wrong. They did actually conduct forensic examination on many of the bodies. They didn't immediately bury them. She's literally wrong. They took the bodies to the Shura base, and they actually did look at the bodies. The issue, however, was that the initial forensic examination was not conducted by real specialists. Zaka ended up desecrating the bodies in the process and ruining any sort of on-the-spot kinetic forensic examination from taking place, because you have to look at the way that like bodies are presented to develop an understanding of what happened, like how this person died. They denied a real investigation to so many Israelis. Ethan tried to say that as well. Can you show us?
This is, dude, this is so stupid, dude. Okay, the reason why they denied, I'm pretty sure why they denied, dude, first of all, they actually did do forensic analysis of the bodies. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know why he's saying this. Okay, people have done forensic analysis of some of the bodies. Okay, but they didn't do forensic analysis on all of the bodies, because guess what? Okay, some people just don't want their fucking desecrated, raped bodies to be left out on the open like that. Some people just want to bury the body as fast as possible to preserve some dignity, right? Like to preserve some kind of religious dignity, right? Like I'm sorry, like Jesus Christ, like what you want all of these like bodies to be like dug up again to have like a fucking like a aftermath fucking post-mortem analysis on all the dug up bodies with dirt on them and shit, like what the fuck, dude? Damn, dude, Jesus Christ.
As proof, yes, I can. Hold on,
What an
I will.
unhinged thing to say.
It's so crazy that people like having this conversation and going over the very important details and having this conversation.
He legit wants it for a spank pank. On God, for real.
Going over these very important fucking details on what happened on October 7, and given the gruesome nature of these accusations, people just simply go, oh, you're just a fucking rape denier. And it's insane to me. It's actually fucking insane to me. Thoughts on you being accused of dog whistling? Yeah, dude, I'm totally. You got it. Where's the Shura base article? Hold on, I'm going to pull it up in a second. Ugh. Anyway, but this is the UN report, by the way, the Sexual Violence and Conflict report. Stop saying, stop posting accusation in a mirror, okay? He is currently adding every single one of his IG stories about you to a highlight reel. I don't care. The easy route in this situation is to just simply say, is to simply go along and not.
After rigor mortis, there's livor mortis, which is the opposite, but is the muscle relaxation, not dilatation of cavities. Okay, I don't. Okay, so what is that supposed to tell me though? Like, sorry, I'm dumb. Okay.
Not try to debunk some of this very dangerous misinformation. Here, the claim of extensive visual evidence with repeated statements of
an allegation.
We saw a photo of cut up vaginas, nails and vaginas, knives and vaginas is strewn throughout the original Gettleman, Stella Schwartz, Hork, the browbeats the reader into submission, but it was all a contrived fake, a facade.
Were, objects like knives inserted in the genitalia of a woman. I mean, like, the team reviewed the photos and we did not find anything like that. And I did mention, like, one of the challenges faced by, of course, by the Israeli government, but which impacted our own work.
Oh, isn't she the investigative person?
Was the fact that
I don't fucking know.
Inaccurate, unreliable forensic conclusions were drawn by untrained volunteer first responders, and we give some examples. We give some examples in the report, such as interpreting an anal dilation as anal penetration, when, according to our forensic expert, we've extensive burn damage. This is what you get, anal dilation, and the position of the body. As
Do you understand why the UN report itself said that, like, the circumstantial evidence is still important and valid to make an assessment, but it doesn't reach the normal standard of an investigation? This was a preliminary report that was conducted. A preliminary report is like a field breathalyzer. When you're drunk driving and a cop pulls you over, they first give you a field breathalyzer test. That field
So the reason why him pulling this up is so bullshit is because I'm pretty sure the first, like, just like how Lonerbox and Ethan Klein said, okay, a lot of the first volunteers that showed up were in fact volunteer groups that were unreliable, and they did in fact want to use the bodies as propaganda for their own gain, okay? But at the same time, like, I'm pretty sure what happened was, even though some people made up stories and poisoned the well, there is still an overwhelming amount of evidence when it comes to the rapes, okay? Which is, like, again, it's just kind of funny that, he just decides to use this one clip in order to show that, hey, wow, oh wow, don't you see that, even this UN person says that there's unreliable evidence? Yeah, no shit. Of course some people are going to be pretty stupid when they're handling the bodies, right? You're supposed to handle bodies really delicately, right? Not like actual fucking morons, right? But like these religious people aren't going to understand how to handle these, like, raped and killed bodies, dude. Like it's really as simple as that. They're not going to know how to do that. So it's a completely unreasonable standard to say that, oh yeah, just because the first responder volunteer people were the ones that were going to bury the bodies, is like, oh, just because of their accounts, oh, now the rapes are completely invalid and never fucking happened, I guess. But yeah,
breathalyzer test is actually very inconsistent, but that's a test that allows the police to detain you, to take you to the fucking precinct so you can use the real breathalyzer in the precinct. That one is actually admissible in court. The field breathalyzer test is inadmissible in court. It doesn't mean that you're actually drunk. It's not proof to actually say you have conclusively driven drunk.
Why the fuck does he know this? You know what? I'm not even going to ask the questions in which there are obvious answers to. Okay?
Drunk. It's only enough proof to detain you so they can take you to the fucking real deal. This is the exact same principle with a preliminary investigation. The UN conducted this preliminary investigation, and then Israel said, you cannot conduct an actual investigation into this process. You just have to take our word for it. Do you understand? No. Why would they say no to this? Do you think that the fucking United Nations is anti-Semitic? Do you think that they're Hamas? Do you think that they're just going to look at all of this information and then make up a conclusion that makes Israel look bad erroneously? What are you fucking...
Dude, yeah, but like, you're taking one thing and then painting it as a whole. But the truth is, is that, like, again, the truth is that, like, is that the UN disagrees with you, right? The UN conclusion says that there was an overwhelming amount of evidence for rape. That's what the UN said. All right. So I don't know why you're saying, like, oh, the UN, says that some things were inaccurate. Yet, like, no shit, some things are going to be inaccurate, right? But, like, you're completely discounting what the UN in total said, right? Like, pick one. Pick one. Is the UN accurate, or are they not accurate? Like what does the UN believe in? Like pick something, right? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah. Rigor mortis ends after 36 hours. There's no reason for anal dilatation in body in normal circumstances. Okay, I see. Yeah, I mean, like, again, you know a little bit more about this than I do. I'll just take you at your word, okay?
Nuts. That's what Israel thinks. It's psychotic. They do. Yeah, I know they think that, but it's fucking bullshit. That's bullshit.
Jesus, dude.
Do you understand?
No.
Yeah. Here's what Pramila Patton's UN report on sexual violence actually said. Section 2.1, first paragraph. Is this where this?
He is cherry picking. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This is the very definition of cherry picking, actually. Yeah. He is literally taking, like, several various, like, parts and then painting that as, like, the whole thing. Yes. Yeah, that's...
In spite of its own complicity in the Israeli narrative, Patton's report undermines several of that narrative's fundamental tenets. Western mass media is currently engaged in a concerted campaign to ignore this, as it spins the report as vindication of claims that Hamas committed systematic rape on October 7. In fact, the report explicitly does not reach this conclusion. 2.1. The UN report does not find a pattern of sexual violence on October 7. This was a central claim of Jeffrey Gettleman, Anash Schwartz, and Adam Sella on their now thoroughly discredited article, Screams Without Words, How Hamas Weaponized Sexual Violence on October 7, which argued that Hamas fighters did not carry out rogue or isolated acts of rape, but rather engaged in a broader pattern of gender-based violence, using rape as a weapon of war. However, when 52 minutes into Patton's March 4 press conference, Farnaz Fasihi from The Times asked, would you say you found a pattern of sexual violence was a strategy of Hamas, both in October 7 attacks and in regards to the hostages? Patton answers definitively in the negative. Later in the press conference, when she is asked by Haaretz journalist Lisa Rozowski, am I correct that
you realize, like, responding in the negative doesn't mean that there wasn't mass systemized rape, like, right? Like what she is denying here, okay, what she is specifically denying here is, was there orders to rape people as much as possible? Probably not. Okay, it's probably against Islamic religion to actually, like, go out and rape a bunch of Jews, okay? Like, no shit, okay? However, at the same time, they happened, right? Mass rapes still happened, but it just simply didn't happen as a specific order, right? That's probably what she was referring to. But again, like the UN report says, there is an overwhelming amount of evidence of mass rapes, even if it's not carried out as an order, okay? So, again, all right, this is just more bullshit, and yeah, just more bullshit, okay? Yeah.
you cannot conclude that sexual violence was of a systematic character? Patton reiterates her answer, stating, no, the distinguishing factor from the exercise that we set out to do, the gathering and verification of information for the purpose of its inclusion in the annual report of the Secretary General versus an investigation, that's where you would go into the elements of widespread or systematic. We did not go into that. Patton's report could neither establish the prevalence of sexual violence nor draw conclusions on attribution of alleged violations to specific armed groups. And here's the Shura base reporting. The Shura base is where many of the original claims of widespread sexual assault, including broken pelvises, first emerged. It turned out it was based on one source who said a ton of demonstrably false things. Haaretz reported it out and found out that it was wrong. At the Shura base, to which most of the bodies were taken for purposes of identification, there were 5 forensic pathologists at work. In that capacity, they also examined the bodies that arrived completely or partially naked in order to examine the possibility of rape. According to a source knowledgeable about the details, there were no signs on any of those bodies attesting to sexual relations having taken place or mutilation of genitalia.
But there were 5 forensic pathologists at work in that. They also examined bodies that arrived complete or partially naked in order to examine the possibility of rape. According to a source who was knowledgeable and on the night behind, all told who worked alongside the police were in the course of the attack, which included photographing faces. These teams did not document a single case of sexual assault or cases of genital mutilation, which included photographing faces only and covering the victims. Okay. Beyond this, from inquiries put to 3 bodies in defense established by Haaretz, it emerged that the does not contain visual documentation of any acts of rape itself. Okay. I have no idea why. Okay. I have no idea why the fuck Okay, this is like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the context of this one. Maybe it's the case that some people were I don't know, like it didn't actually, go through the process of determining whether some bodies were raped or not. Maybe. I don't know, dude. Yeah. I don't know about this one.
These teams did not document a single case of sexual assault or case of genital mutilation. Beyond this,
But again, I mean, then you would have to explain why this contradicts with the UN conclusion, okay? Like, again, it's fine that it's fine to have this like one account, by the way, like just one account of possibly no rape or like in these circumstances, but then you would then have to again contend with the fact that it's just different from the UN report, okay?
from inquiries, and this also goes along with the UN report.
No,
But
it is
Ethan
not.
still put it in his fucking video. Why did Ethan still put it in his fucking video? Because he's incredibly careless. That's it.
Not perfect.
And here, this is the other guy. Hold
not
on.
perfect. They're
I
not-
know. I can't believe how much time I've spent on.
That is the UN report, right? You mean when it comes to when it comes to this Haaretz article? I don't remember. Although maybe you
On
can
this, I know it's
remind
fucking
me.
annoying. Okay, I know.
Is not perfect.
In the first, male October 7 survivor recounts rape at the hands of Hamas terrorists. This guy was a Nova Festival guy. He literally said that on October 7, during Nova Festival, Hamas terrorists came and gang raped him. Guess what? He was suing the Israeli government for $133 million. And the Israeli government looked into his statements and found that he was making it up. And they closed the case.
Perfect.
That guy is another fabulist. Attackers laughed as they raped and murdered a woman in Israel on October 7, witness says. This guy also was found to be fucking lying.
Of course, if you compare the raw numbers, Gazans have lost a lot more than Israelis. 40,000 people have died, and neighborhoods have been completely flattened during this war. And while we should keep their plight at the top of our minds at all time, it also doesn't mean that we should disregard
I like how we just like went through an entire segment that could have been summed up in 2 minutes, all right, or 5 minutes or something, and instead it's like now we're returning to the video. It's like, oh wait, oh I remember now. I guess we're supposed to be covering this, covering this content nuke, right? We're supposed to be covering this content nuke, but nope. I mean, I guess okay, dude. All right, we should stop here. Okay, we'll
the
go a little
lives
bit
of the
more.
Jwish people who are also affected by this, even if
But then after
their
this,
suffering on the whole is
No,
not
this war, not a war, it's a genocide. I thought you recognized it as such.
as great. Some
Yeah. Wars can happen during genocides. Hello? What the fuck? Okay, I don't know why the fuck he said that, because that was the most retarded fucking thing that I've ever heard, but okay.
of you may know that I'm an Israeli dual citizen. My wife is Israeli, my kids are half Israeli, and my entire in-law is Israeli. I lived there for 5 years, and I grew a closeness with the country and its people. One of the biggest issues between me, Hasan, and his community was that
Yeah, notice how he says when he's talking about Gazans dying in the war, the terminology is very passive. Israelis are horrifyingly raped and mutilated and murdered by these Hamas terrorists, but Gazans are dying in a war. This right here is a dog whistle. If you want to know what a fucking dog whistle is, this is what a dog whistle is. Not the idea that someone fucking holding up a bleach sword is actually indicative of their anti-Semitism. That's something that you made up in your fucking mind. But this
Wait, how's this a dog whistle?
is a very carefully crafted dog whistle that I don't even think Ethan is smart enough to understand that he's actually attributing here. It's just so permanently lasered into his fucking consciousness that he doesn't recognize that he's doing passive voice when talking about Gazans and their plight. That's it. Okay? Passive voice.
What are you talking? What the fuck are you on about right now? Okay, he's like, he's still cooking at 0 degrees. Jesus Christ, dude.